morning, everybody. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live event. We do this every Thursday morning, 9:45 CDT, right here on Facebook Live. And we just do just a few minutes, just a short little mini lesson on some fun thing that I'm in the mood to have fun with. And this morning we're going to talk about a cool little move you can do with an A7 chord that comes in handy a surprising number of times in a surprising number of situations. It's really versatile and flexible and sounds good in a lot of styles. Anyway, before we jump in the pool, two quick things. First of all, I want to make sure you're signed up for my free monthly newsletter. It's really fun. I think it's really interesting. I know I'm biased, but you're going to want to check that out just once a month. No big deal. And there's a link. It's super easy and fast to sign up for that in the description. Also, I want to tell you about my October Zoom class happening Wednesday, October 28th. There's a link to sign up on Eventbrite for that class. This month it's on classic soul tunes. So we're going to rock out with some Motown songs. And I've never done a class on this subject before, and I can't figure out why I haven't done it. It took my husband Bobby King, who's really an expert in this style of music, to make the suggestion. So we're going to go ahead and do that Wednesday evening, October 28th. All levels welcome. We'd love to have you join in. I promise you're going to have fun. So anyway, let's talk about this A7 chord and this cool little move you can do on it. First of all, let's make sure we're all playing the right A7 chord, and it looks like this. So what I have is, trying to get the angle right here, I've got my middle finger on the 4th string and I've got my ring finger on the 2nd string. So that's an A7 chord, and it's important that you finger it this way because we're going to make full use of this middle finger being on the 4th string. You'll see in a minute. He's going to be your best friend through this move. You're going to keep that finger on that string while other things are changing. So that makes a really good, I don't know if it's an anchor, but a good way to keep your hand and your fingers on track if you keep that middle finger on the 4th string. So here's what it looks like, and then I'll slow down and explain what I'm doing. It's this. All right, didn't that sound like fun? It was so much fun. It's hard for me to not just go ahead and do it several more times immediately because it just sounds so good. It makes a fun little loop. So let me show you what I'm doing. I've got my middle finger on that 4th string, like I keep emphasizing. You're going to want to really discipline him not to pop up and down. He's going to slide, but he's not going to leave the 4th string. So you're here, then you pick up your ring finger, you slide your middle finger a whole step. Maybe you know that's 2 frets because each fret is a half step. So you're going to slide that middle finger 2 frets and put your index finger, let me show you the close-up, put the index finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, okay? It sounds a little funky. There's some stuff floating around that chord that aren't, that isn't totally strictly correct, but it's kind of fun, so we're going to let it be there. Then keep your middle finger on that 4th string, pick up your index, slide a half step, that is 1 fret with your middle finger, and put your ring finger on the 2nd string. So that shape is exactly the same shape as where you started, but now you're on the 5th fret instead of the 2nd. So let me show that to you again. Here's your A7. You're going to pick up your ring finger, you're going to slide the middle finger a whole step, put the index finger on the 2nd string, and then, after you're ready to leave that, pick up your index finger, slide a half step, 1 fret with your middle finger, and put your ring finger on the 2nd string. All right? So where would you use that? The most common way, I think, is to use it when you're in the key of D. So here we are on a D chord. There's my G chord, my 4 chord. Here's my 5 chord. Okay, so I put a little extra fairy dust on that one. I made a slurring note. Let me do it straight now, so just the way I showed it to you. So here's my 1 chord, here's my 4 chord, here's my 5 chord, A7, slide, slide. So that is a perfect little way to fill some space where you'd like to have something happening. We'll call it a fill. And in the key of it, actually in any key, it is a very, very, very common thing to be hanging out on your 5 chord, and the words are done. You're done singing your lyric, but you got a little time to kill at the end of a line hanging on your 5 chord. And in the key of D, your 5 chord is A7. So now you have a little fancy thingy that you can plug in there while you're hanging out. So let me play you sort of the before and after. So the before is going to be, I'm going to hang on to my A7, not doing anything, wishing I had a toy to play with. And then I'm going to play it for you with your new toy in there. So the undecorated way sounds like this. 1, sorry, 4. Now there's nothing wrong with that, but it's kind of a missed opportunity. So now I'm going to play it for you with your new toy. Let's say we're singing la 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 la. So you probably feel pretty fancy right about now, maybe a little bit like a rock star, and your audience is really thrilled because when the words stop, they're still being entertained, and your song starts to sound a little bit like a record. That's what they do when they make records. So anyway, I hope you come back next Thursday, 9:45 CDT, and hang out with us. We do this, like I said, every Thursday morning, and it could be performance tips. We've talked about the blues. We've talked about fun stuff to do in the key of D. Here's an example of that. We've talked about the key of E. We've talked about hybrid picking. We talked about dynamics. Whatever, there's a lot to talk about, turns out, in playing the guitar. So anyway, I hope you join us then, and make sure you're signed up for my newsletter. And we really hope that you join the Zoom class on October 28th. Classic soul tunes, Motown, and more. So you know you're going to want that. Meanwhile, stay in the groove.